Today's commander is Hazezon, Shaper of Sands. Now, its first ability is basically flavor text, but I love that about this card. The second ability is kind of important. There's only a couple of creatures that let you play lands from graveyards. Now, this has a drawback of only being able to play deserts. It's not a lot of lands, but it is some, and you can play them in this deck, and that's kind of the point, right? It gives you a lot of value when you play lands from the graveyard, specifically deserts, because you get 2/1/1 red, green, and white sand creature tokens. You're gonna need to play a lot of lands. To do that, you play this package right here. Everyone's familiar with this package. Wayward Swordtooth, Dryad, Azusa, Oracle, Exploration, Burgeoning, right? Everyone knows these. They're important. You're gonna need to play a lot of lands, make a lot of tokens. Big tokens. Okay? Now, things that I don't think are very strong in this deck are play an additional land once. Now, that's Explore and Summer Bloom effects. There's a lot of these, like Kodama's Reach. Now, I know it doesn't say play an additional land, but it tutors up a land, puts it on the battlefield, right? I don't think those are very strong in this deck because you don't get a lot of value out of them. And your general is only 3 mana, so you just get to 3 mana, cast your general. A lot of your accelerants are only 3 mana. I don't think you need to tutor up a bunch of basic lands, is what I'm saying, right? I would play Explorer and Summer Bloom just because they're good cards. If you have deserts in your hand, you can get value out of them. What you need specifically is tutors that find any land, right? Our Promise is the best one here because it cares that those lands are deserts. So you get 2/2 zombies if those lands are deserts, and you have 3 or more deserts, right? Actually, it doesn't care if the ones you get are deserts, but you have to have 3 deserts. Tempt of the Discovery also can do this, but you don't get the upside of the 2/2s. So at 1 mana more with the 2/2 value, it's slightly better because Tempt can sometimes be 4 mana get a land, right? It's not very good, especially when you're going to get like deserts that aren't very good. Sylvan Scrying, it's fine, it's good. Crop Rotation is excellent. Realms Uncharted, it can be really good and it could be really mediocre. I think in this deck it's kind of mediocre. You just go get 3 deserts, they give you the worst one of them. They're all bad, so it just is what it is on that one. Playing lands from the graveyard is important in this deck. Your commander lets you play deserts from the graveyard, but the plan is sacrifice a bunch of lands for value, right? Now, only 3 creatures that I know of, 2 creatures and an artifact have the ability to play lands from the graveyard. I understand that it's a powerful effect and they don't want to put it on a million creatures, so that's fine, right? We only need 3. Splendid Reclamation gets all of your lands, but it's a one-off, and this deck doesn't have a lot of ways to put it back in our library or back in our hand, so it's pretty much a one-off. Like, you want to do it on a big combo turn. Combo, in quotes, right? Mainly, you're just getting a lot of value, 1 turn, hopefully winning, right? Life in the Loam can accrue you value over time. Make your additional land drops, get back your fetch lands and stuff like that. Dredge more deserts into the graveyard, play them from there, stuff like that. Playing a bunch of additional land drops is going to draw a lot of heat from the table. So you're going to need cards like Sylvan Safekeeper, who, sacrificing a land, which is something you want to do anyway, gives a creature Shroud. Your opponent is really trying to get you. They got the removal spell for every one of your creatures. Probably not a good idea to sack every single one of your lands to protect them, but it's a route you can take, I guess, right? Heroic Intervention, Fairy's Protection, and Chroma's Will. I just like blanket, protect your whole board. You're safe for a turn. The budget win conditions in this deck are Shared Animosity, Beastmaster's Ascension, Inspiring Leader, Divine Visitation, Cathar's Crusade. I know some of these didn't used to be budget, but these prices have dropped drastically from what I could remember. So yeah, this is strong Magic cards here. But this is budget friendly, strong cards to win the game. If you don't have a budget, this is the cards you play. Anointing Procession, Doubling Season, and Parallel Lives just make this deck go insane. Every single land, if you have these enchantments, is just a blowout. Perforos is probably going to draw the hate of the table if you play this card. So be warned, Perforos will probably get you targeted. But if you're playing the other ones, you might just win fast enough, it doesn't matter. Growing Rights is an auto include if you have the budget for it, because this thing is going to flip 90% of the time when you cast it, just because of the tokens and mana creatures that you're playing in the deck. It's just going to flip. You're going to have a guy's cradle all the time. These are effects I don't think you should play. This one may seem weird, but I think the other one's obvious, right? Triumph of the Hordes, although like Shared Animosity is probably stronger than this card just in general, but this card has Infect on it. People hate Infect. I don't know why. I think it's a valid win condition, but I think people just feel a little cheated that they die at 10 instead of 40. So don't play it, right? I think it's my general advice just to never play Infect cards if you want to have friends. So this is a deck where that card would go in. You can play it if you want. I wouldn't. This is a controversial opinion. Constant Miss is a little too strong sometimes. You're not playing a Lands Matter deck, and you're just playing it as a fog effect that has a cost. This is a perfectly fine Magic card. I actually like it in that condition, right? Sacrificing land is a cost. You set yourself back to not die and try to win next turn. In this deck, you want to sacrifice lands. It's not a cost. The 2 mana cost on this card is also so low. That's how much you pay for a fog, so it's a fair cost. But you can just hold up 6 mana, sacrifice the tap lands that you use to pay for this card, and no one can ever kill you. I know Magic has moved away from combat damage in Commander. A lot of combo kills, right? If you're playing this deck, you're probably playing at a table where combat kills are more normal, so that's when you shouldn't play this card. If everyone is super aggro and they kill on like turn 4, maybe this card is fine in that situation. But if it's a knockout drag out fight for an hour and a half and you just pull this out and it's like, okay guys, you can't kill me, I'm gonna attack you every turn. It's too strong, right? You win the game through attrition in a way that's like feels bad for everybody else, because it's like, what do? I can't stop this. They can counter it, I guess, but the counterspell player is not attacking you, so I don't think they care. This is the combo package. Not really a combo, it's just super big value. Escape Shift with Amulet of Vigor. All those lands are untapped. Shamanic Revelation, draw into Second Sunrise, and Faith's Reward. Cast these, get all your lands back. Amulet of Vigor, do it again, right? You can't really get the cards back, so it can't go infinite per se, but it can keep going. Now, there's a lot of value here. The truth of it all, deserts suck. Every single one of them sucks. Ramunap Ruins saw standard play because it was a shock on a land with a huge downside. It saw play in spite of it being such a bad card because it was shock on a land. That being said, we're sacrificing these for value with things like Dust Bowl and other effects that sacrifice lands. We're not keeping these around. You can cycle most of these. The other ones can sometimes give you mana, but it costs a life to get a colored mana. That's going to feel really bad over time if you're trying to use these for mana. Vesuva can enter as a copy of a desert. You can get 2 tokens. Or it can enter as a copy of Field of the Dead. And since you're playing all these deserts, you're going to have a lot of different land names. You have 2 Field of the Deads. That's probably what you're going to do. It's probably what you're going to want to do. Dust Bowl is a very strong card. It's Wasteland that stays around, especially in a deck that plays the lands from the graveyard consistently. You can Dust Bowl every turn almost. It's going to cost you lands, and it's going to cost you mana. Sure. but it's just such an easy cost in this deck that it's going to be really tempting just to blow up people's shock lands. I think you should only use it on super powerful lands your opponent controls or your own deserts if you really need to. That being said, use your own judgment, right? I'm not at your table, but just know that if you dust both people in this deck, it's gonna feel bad and they're probably gonna be mad at you. So we're at the end. Okay. This is Hazezon. I will be playing this deck on stream, and I want to remind you that I play on Magic Online, and if you have a Magic Online account you would like to play with me, feel free to hop over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Hazezon. Let's play some Commander games. Should be fun. I'll be playing this deck at least one day this week. I'll have the days and what decks in the description, along with the deck list for this deck and all my other decks that I'm building however long I do this. So thanks. Let me know what you think of the deck, and if you think, is the commander actually bad, or are people under or overrating it? Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.